Hello and welcome back to Dawn Chorus Writes. I'm Dawn. Hiya. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. This is a mini-series. It was going to be a one-shot, but it's turned into a mini-series called Sweet Treats. So I hope you like it. Smash that like. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2 and part 3 and all the other one-shots and series and everything like that on the channel. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Sweet Treats. Sweet Treats, Part 1. Marinette's POV. Marinette gathered together her books and placed them into her bag. She was so grateful that it was the end of the day and she could relax. After the late night Akuma fight, she had promised herself the luxury of a night off. You go ahead. I'll see you in the library. I need a girl talk with my bestie, Alia said to Nino standing at the door, and then tried to look like she had lowered her voice, but really it was a loud whisper. I think something is up. You make a start and I'll catch you up. Hearing the code word, Marinette hung her gaze downwards, away from Nino, and felt Adrien glancing her way. Trying not to blush at the sudden attention she was receiving, Marinette turned her back on the two boys. Girl, that was some superb acting skills there. I don't think he'll suspect. Alia grinned at her friend, gesturing she could relax now. I'm not sure how much I was acting, Marinette muttered to herself. He hasn't left my side all day. It's as if he doesn't trust me. Alia let out a cheeky laugh, rubbing her hands together in an exaggerated gesture. But I wanted to double check that you are still on for making his birthday treats. Treats? I'm baking his birthday cake. Could you get your folks to throw in some extras? Oh, you know how much they would love to, but they have that order from Mayor B. Marinette rolled her eyes. So, I don't think they'll have time. I'll see what I can do. You're the best. Has anyone told you that? Alia flung her arms around Marinette. The best friend a girl could ask for. Thank you. She let go and took a step up towards the door, just in case Marinette was tempted to take it back. I'll see you at setup around 4. Of course. You had better go before he comes looking, but text me if you need help. Marinette grinned at a friend who loved this boy so much she was practically taking over a park for the night and throwing him a party even though he had asked her not to bother. But you only turned 16 once. Marinette let out a little groan as she entered the locker room. Perhaps she could sweet talk her papa into baking a few extra macaroons tonight, ready for tomorrow. Is everything alright, Marinette? Marinette jumped at the sudden sound of Adrien's voice behind her. Huh? Yeah, fine. You? Feeling a flush of colour rise to her cheeks, had he caught her talking to herself? Adrien stood in front of her in his white fencing outfit that gave him an almost old night vibe. After watching a few period dramas over the weekend with Alia, getting the literature assignment on Jane Austen. Normally she wasn't interested in English novels that were 200 years old, but who hadn't heard of Mr. Darcy? Marinette felt her cheeks become hot and shook her head at the sudden image of Adrien becoming Mr. Darcy in her mind. Marinette? Yes, sorry. Had a late night. My brain power is now fading. She chuckled and gave him a smile that brought a little pink to his cheeks. I know what you mean. Oh yes? Homework. He rubbed his neck, a gesture she had noticed he only did when fibbing or awkward. Of course, me too. Anyway, was there... She brushed it aside. I wanted to ask. He stepped a little closer as she held her breath. Your advice on what to get Nino for his birthday. You were really thoughtful at gifts, so I thought, it's tomorrow. I've got a little something, but wanted to get something else that's thoughtful. He's my best friend. Well, it doesn't matter. A voice called through the courtyard at the sound of the fencing practice about to start. I better go. His tone was a little deflated. Adrien, wait. Marinette took a few steps and caught up with him before he could head out the double doors. I'm baking Nino his birthday cake in the morning. If you can join me, I need to make extra sweet treats. She looked up and caught his gaze and a wide grin at her. Yeah, I can make cupcakes or cookies for the party. What better way to show how much people matter to you, like you do when you bring us, sweet treats at the end of lunch. Adrien placed his hand at the back of his neck and stroked it as the blush had reached his ears. Exactly, that's what my mum always says. Don't just say it. Show how much that person means to you. Like when you make someone your special designs. His voice was soft and melted her insides. She needed air. Exactly. Aggress? A voice boomed from the courtyard. I better go, but should I come around early tomorrow? Yes, whatever time you can get away at. Knowing that even though it was a Saturday, Adrien still had a strict timetable. Good. He paused before stepping through, as if he was going to say something else. Great. Happy jabbing. And finished it with a gesture of his fencing, causing Adrien to burst out laughing as he left. Happy jabbing? Did I just honestly say that? Marinette opened a small round purse. Tiki! I'm spending my day baking sweet treats with Adrien tomorrow. Yummy! Tiki's eyes widened at the prospect of a day in the bakery surrounded by cookies. Last night, and blaming it on the book assignment, Marinette placed on Pride and Prejudice again, and the images of Adrien yesterday didn't help, as she hand-sewn a green apron to match the colour of his eyes to wear today. She finished it with a stitched A at the bottom. Marinette! She groaned at hearing her voice being called out this early. She wanted to curl deeper under the covers and pretend she hadn't heard. What time is it? Tiki complained in her own tiny bed on a shelf above hers. It's 7 a.m. Maybe my mom needed extra help this morning before she needed to start. Coming! Marinette let out an enormous yawn as she descended the stairs in her pajamas. Morning! Adrien's cheerful voice called out as he held 2 takeaway cups in front of him. Sorry, you said early. Her eyes widened at him, looking ready to go, whilst she looked a mess. I did. You hadn't forgotten, had you? I got you a tea. The smile dropped from his face at the possibility of being rejected. No, of course not. I just didn't expect you this early. And thank you. She took the tea from his hand, her fingers brushing against his, causing her stomach to flutter. Today might be the best, but longest day. Do you want to get dressed, my darling, whilst I make some breakfast with the help from Adrien? Sabrine darted her attention from her daughter to the boy who was grinning up at her. Oh, yes, I'll be right back. Marinette's stare shot from Adrien to her own clothing, stumbling as she headed back up the stairs as quick as she could manage, hearing Adrien let out a little chuckle. She quickly placed on a t-shirt with a cherry blossom design along with skinny jeans, and then continued to put her hair into her usual bottom bunches, before heading back down the stairs to the smell of pancakes. Marinette picked up the green apron from her desk, hoping he would like it. Hey! Adrien smiled up at her. You look lovely. Look what I can do, he said, changing the subject, and then flipped a pancake with a frying pan. That's impressive. This isn't your first time, is it? She gave him a little smirk, causing him to blush. Either way, I think you'll be needing this today. She watched him put down the frying pan as his eyes widened at the gift she was holding out to him. I thought today was Nino's birthday, not mine. Thank you. He picked it up and watched how the green apron dropped in front of him. It's just a little something. so you don't get your clothes too messy today. You made this for me last night? After you said how tired you were? His expression held a blend of awe and gratitude. It's not a big deal. She averted a gaze away from his stare that seemed to penetrate her heart. He took a step closer to her. Will you do me the honors? He waited until she was standing behind him when he whispered, Thank you. It's everything. He gazed down at it. You have even put a black A in the corner. Marinette got her red one out of the kitchen drawer and placed it over her head and felt Adrien standing behind her. This time he was tying her strings into a bow. We all have one. Marinette pointed to her black M and then to Sabrine's golden fabric had a creamy white S. Marinette has made one for each of us. It looks like you're part of the family now. Sabrine smiled, turning her back on the pair. Thank you, he breathed. Like I said, you're the best at thoughtful gifts. Shall we have some of these delicious pancakes before they get cold then? And I'll leave you kids to it. It's a busy day all round. Adrien smoothed down his apron before placing the plates, stacked with golden pancakes, down on the small, cozy dining table compared to his own. Marinette grabbed the blueberries out of the fridge and the jar of maple syrup. She chuckled at his cheeky, childlike grin at the display in front of him. Already the best day, he breathed as he took 3 pancakes and then a scoop of blueberries as his hand brushed against Marinette's. Thank you for listening to part 1. Part 2 will be on its way of sweet treats. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2 and 3 and other one-shots and series. I will speak to you soon. Bye.